if I'm shopping in Santa Rosa, I don't know, I've got to go to Santa Rosa, but on Friday, um, not all that comfortable with it. Oh, now I have an unknown caller. Sorry, unknown caller. We're gonna not take that phone call. I don't know why people wait till I go in the air. And then they call. There we go. Bye. Okay, here we go. So now my headphones are too loud. Okay. Anyway, so if you're comfortable unmasked, then be unmasked. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, please get vaccinated. It's going to protect your life. It's going to protect the life of others that you love. In our state, California, we lost over 600,000 people to COVID. Now fathom that number, 600,000. I personally lost my brother. You've heard me talk about that several times. I lost my 82-year-old brother to COVID. This is real. It's not a phony thing. So just all it takes is just getting vaccinated, either whichever vaccine they're giving out, and they're doing it here at RCMS, and a lot of us in Mendocino County right in our area have been vaccinated. We were having a bit of a surge. I think we still are in Mendocino County, but it's mainly on the 101 corridor, mainly over in Willits and Ukiah area. Right. Out here, not so much. So anyway, so that's it. And in the meantime, we just carry on doing what we should be doing all the time anyway. Wash your hands, right? Wash your hands. So this morning, we are welcoming our special guest, Michi. Michi, I don't even know your last name.
Perkins.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't I think of that? So Michi is the new owner of Accents by the Sea. Mm-hmm. And Barbara Helms left it in Michi's hands. And I don't know if Barbara's listening, but Barbara's been staying in touch a lot since she moved to Florida. But where do you live, Michi? Are you in?
I'm in Anchor Bay.
You're in Anchor Bay. Oh, great. Are you up on Sunset?
Yep.
You're my neighbor somewhere up there?
Probably.
Wow. Well, we'll have to find out where we live. Yeah, I'm up there too. About halfway up. And how long have you lived in the area?
Well, I bought my house about six years ago. So yeah.
And where'd you come from?
Vallejo.
Vallejo. Yeah. Wow. And it's very hot over there, I understand right now.
Yeah. The house we had in Vallejo, we bought, and we didn't think we needed air conditioning because everyone told us that it's only hot for a couple of weeks out of the year, and we ended up getting air conditioning installed.
Yeah. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Santa Barbara County.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Wow, lucky you.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah.
Well, it's pretty darn beautiful up here too. So you're now working in retail. Did you ever plan on being in retail?
No.
What did you do before?
I was a commercial underwriter for a title company.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty busy job.
Yes, it was.
Especially these last even here, these last few weeks, houses are literally flying off the market.
Right.
Yeah.
I did commercial, like I did skyscrapers, things like that in San Francisco.
Wow. Skyscrapers.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting to me. It was like, just, I don't know, I kind of fell into that and I just loved it. So
what was interesting about it?
It was like partly legal, partly engineering or, surveying, because she dealt with a lot of maps. And when I was a little kid, my dad and I actually the whole family, but my dad would drive and then I would sit in the front seat and I would navigate for him. So I'd go, okay, the next town is this. And so, I grew up reading maps. So I love maps. And it was, so I kind of fell into that because basically even a house, you start out with a plot and this is what you're buying, and so the legal description is really important, that it matched the map so that people know what they're buying. So it was just interesting to me. It might not be interesting to everyone else, but it was to me.
Well, I live with a surveyor, so I know all about
I
maps
know
and
where you
mapping.
live.
Uh-oh, she knows where the surveyor lives.
Well, she surveyed my lot for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just missed them as you came to the back door. They just left for their surveying up the
Yeah.
Highway 1 today.
I'm
Yeah.
like 3 houses up.
No,
Yeah.
you're kidding.
No.
Wow, isn't that? It's what a small world. Well,
Yeah.
we will definitely find out a little bit more about that. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think people don't understand. And I had never thought about, of course, the importance of. I guess I just think of skyscrapers as well, they're not movable; they're where they sit. But I mean,
Well, in San Francisco, things tend to shift a little bit
huh?
because of the earthquakes and stuff. And so a lot of the buildings, or if you're like in the financial district, like you have to think of it as a three-dimensional uh, puzzle. So BART might be running underneath, or Muni. And so, there's like layers that BART owns from this level to that level,
Mm-hmm.
so say, like 500 feet below ground to, 200 or whatever. Those are just numbers I'm throwing out. But, and then Muni, I think Muni was right. Muni was underneath BART? No, above BART.
Above board, yeah.
Above BART. And then you had, the building, the land, and then, in the building, which was from a certain level on up. So it's like a three-dimensional puzzle, if you think of it that way. So it's not just the land, because when you own a piece of land, it goes to the center of the earth generally, if you own it in fee,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but to me, that was more interesting because it was more three-dimensional.
Wow. I once worked at the top of the Bank of America building as
yeah.
a file clerk decades ago as a temporary job. But what a difference it is when you're up at the top
Mhm.
and you look down and people literally do look like ants. But that pyramid building is
Transamerica
Building, but sometimes you're on this side of it and sometimes you're on the other side of it, and you have no idea that building is actually swaying. And I think the architect said it was built so well that if there was a major earthquake, it would be the longest building west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
But so I guess, there's a lot to think about. Does that kind of airspace come into account when you're dealing or not?
Well, I don't know. It can. Generally in San Francisco, what we ran into is one surveyor would start at one corner and they would go, 150 feet or whatever. And then another surveyor would come along and then survey from the other corner and come in 150 feet. So a lot of the property lines overlap, or there may be a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's not like a map where somebody comes in and they go, okay, here's 50 lots, and they file a map,
Mm-hmm.
because those property lines are there, they're not going to move. But so I mean, in San Francisco, there's gaps and overlaps, and there's pieces of property that, like there might be a 4 or 5 inch sliver of land that doesn't actually technically belong to anyone.
Oh no. Oh, I had no idea we were going to be talking about surveying. Hey, if you just joined Peggy's Place this morning on KGUA, we're talking with Michi Perkins, who's the new owner of Accents by the Sea. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But she was just telling us that she used to work in San Francisco and doing title. Title ownership, title
Well, basically, commercial underwriting.
commercial underwriting.
So basically, I did shopping centers, skyscrapers, worked with the city of San Francisco a lot. Did like the Bloomingdale's, worked on the ferry building. I mean,
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I did big projects, and it was, so that was interesting because, you know, residential, you're doing a lot more orders
Mhm.
and with commercial, you're doing fewer and then a lot of concentration on that one project. So to me, I'm kind of lazy. So that was better for me.
So I have a question then. Who owns the alleys?
The city.
Oh, okay. The city owns the alleys.
Well, not necessarily, because there are easements. Some people own to the center of the alley, and then there'll be an easement that goes through there for everybody else on the block most of the time.
Mhm.
So I've worked on some of those kind of things too. But most of the time in San Francisco owns the alleys.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in recent years, there's all of those pop-up restaurants. Well, they're not pop-ups, but they're in
Mhm.
the alleys now,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool. You sit outside in those restaurants. So,
Yeah, Belden Place is like that. It's beautiful.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave the Bay Area behind.
Okay.
As wonderful as that is, and as interesting as to me it is, of
Uh-huh.
course, because I live with a surveyor, so that all means a lot more to me now.
Right.
And here, of course, it's very important as well.
Mhm.
But tell us how you got involved with Accents by the Sea.
Well, before I moved up here, we used to stop in there all the time. And then, then we moved up, and I saw, on Facebook a few times that she was.
I'm going to adjust your mic. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me, people.
So anyways, I saw that she was looking to sell, and I was hoping that someone would buy it. And she had posted some cookbooks on Facebook that she wanted to get rid of. So I went by her house, and then we started talking, and I just, we just got to talking. And then I said, well, I might be interested. Let me think about it overnight. And I think I got home, and maybe a couple hours later, I texted her, I think I'm going to do it.
Really? Just like that?
Yeah, I kind of tend to do stuff like that.
Does that lead to regrets? Not about accents, but other things, or does it always work out?
It's, well, not always, but I kind of I like to throw things against the wall and see if it sticks. And then if it sticks, it works. If it falls off, then I think of something else to do, but so far I'm enjoying it. I really am.
I have to say, I use that analogy a lot in my career too. And it's kind of like that, or you put a bunch of sticks in the fire and see which catches. And
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Great.
if you think, I tend to overthink things if you let me. And so sometimes you just have to make a decision, right or wrong, just make a decision.
Mhm.
And then go with it and do the best you can. And so far it's been good.
Great.
So
Or back to Barbara and Accents by the Sea,
Mhm.
what intrigued you about it? Was it owning a business here, owning the Accents by the Sea? Are you into cooking a lot, or?
Yeah, I'm into cooking and gardening. And so if it wasn't a kitchen store, it might have been a nursery or something. But I do love to cook. My family calls me Martha Stewart. And I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. But I do like to cook. I like to eat. I think that's
Mhm.
that's the thing. And but I mean, I enjoy cooking for people that I care about. And so I mean, I worked as a sous chef when I was going to college.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Any restaurant we would know?
No, it was the Union Hotel in Los Alamos, little LA, they used to call it. But it was fun. It was a family style restaurant, and so we only served a few things, but I enjoyed it. But the hours were really long, and at that time I was a single mom, and so I eventually had to find a real job that paid well, and so I did. Yeah.
Well, we do a lot of shows about food here on Peggy's Place, and we have, for example, Carolyn Ducato is a regular guest, usually once a month. She hasn't made an appearance in June yet, but she does. She brings in different foods to taste, and we have kind of not a regularly scheduled show, but it's
Oh.
kind of the theme of what's for dinner.
Uh-huh.
So we've had Rebecca Stewart on, Chef Rebecca Stewart, and many other chefs.
Mhm.
And of course, we like to highlight a lot of our local purveyors of things, whether it's a Little Green Bean or
Mhm.
Lisa's Luscious or
Mhm.
Pelican Bread, whatever. We bring people on all the time, and your store also features a lot of local products.
Yeah, I'd like to get some more. Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of the tourists come in and they go, is this made here locally? And I have to, sometimes yes, sometimes no, but I would like to get more local product.
Mhm. That's great. So, when you came to the first time you came to Accents by the Sea as a buyer,
Mhm.
uh, uh, customer, do you remember what you bought?
What did I buy?
No.
I don't remember. It was so long ago. I just know that I've bought quite a few things, from Barbara,
Mm-hmm.
and I use it all, and it's all good stuff. I mean, otherwise, I don't think I would have bought it.
So what kind of you said you love to cook. What kind of cooking do you do? Do you specialize in anything or just all over the place?
I like cooking stuff all day long, like pasta sauce, chili, stuff that just simmers on the stove or start on the stove and then stick it in the oven in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to bake sourdough bread.
Oh boy,
Um,
that does under COVID this past year, I think so many people were making sourdough. It was
mhm.
amazing. Do you sell starter at your store or at
No,
Accents, or
no.
do you make your own starter?
Yeah, I made my own starter and then I've been feeding it, but I've been kind of ignoring it lately because I've been spending too much time at the store.
Wow. Yeah, I don't bake, mainly because I think for me that would just be deadly if I started baking. But I thought about trying to do some sourdough too, but no, I'm gonna stay away from that. But what is the fun of making bread?
Um, it's very hands-on, sourdough bread especially. It's the kneading, it's not really, I mean, they make sourdough, you can make sourdough bread that's technically called no kneading, but it's it's just hands-on and then it just tastes so good when it comes out of the oven. It's just,
I bet.
yeah.
I bet. Well, if you just joined us, we're talking to Michi Perkins, who is the new owner of Accents by the Sea right here at Cypress Village, and finding out a little bit about her background and why someone would want to. Is this the first commercial store you've ever owned?
Yes.
Wow. There again, I mean, you talked about how you make decisions in your life. What did you think about I mean, you said it didn't take you very much time. You talked to Barbara about it, Barbara Helms, former owner, and then you just sort of decided, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
What, how do you jump through that hoop so quickly?
I just do that. It's like when I met Scott, the first time I saw him, I just knew he was the one. And I just jumped in. I mean, because I never did that before. And it was, but that was, I just knew.
You just knew that this
And
was.
yeah, and this was kind of like, I think so. Yeah, I think I can do this.
Well, it's funny, owning a business is kind of like being married because it's kind of 24/7.
Mhm. Yeah.
It really is.
Uh-huh.
It's like this place. I mean, you never leave it basically, even though
Right.
whether you're here or not. So I imagine a business would be like that too. So what Accents by the Sea, if you are new here, if you're not a local, sells wonderful kitchenwares, very high-end kitchenwares and children's clothing still?
No,
No more
no,
children's clothing?
I don't know when she stopped doing
Mm.
that.
So it's mainly just the kitchenware, KitchenAids, all
Yeah,
kinds.
it's like small appliances, tableware, which is like dishes, placemats, things like that, napkins. Um,
but really,
Just-
really nice high-end stuff. In fact, the first time I met Michi a few weeks ago, I was having a few people over for dinner and I needed ramekins. And I went and bought all the ramekins that were left. Not that I was having a gigantic dinner party, but I was making a special lemon souffle and I needed the ramekins. So I bought them out, and which was quite a success, by the way.
Yeah, we have more.
And yeah, I'm sure you can't get rid of all of them, but that's how I met
Yeah.
Michi and found out she would be taking over soon as Barbara was gone, which she is now.
Yeah.
So did you in terms of liking to cook and liking and these appliances,
Mhm.
I know one thing that Barbara always tried to talk me into was getting one of those pressure cookers.
Mhm.
Do you use those?
I do.
Now that from most of us still have that image of those pressure cookers that used to explode.
Right.
They don't do that anymore.
I'm not going to say that they don't do that anymore, but yeah, they're
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, there are some that are better than others. And then the older ones, if you're still using an older one, you need to be careful. But they also have the little electric ones now, the Instapots and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
whatnot. And those are pretty safe.
And then, well, and obviously the ones that you guys sell over there are very safe. I can't
Yeah,
remember the brand.
The Kunrikon.
What are they called?
Kunrikon.
Oh, okay. A couple of weeks ago, we were again having a few people over at the house and decided to make a pork butt. Those things take 7 hours.
Yep.
7
Were you
hours.
smoking it?
Yeah, well, we started it at one house and then brought it over to our place and put it in the barbecue for the last 2 hours to flavor it more. It had a great flavoring on it. And I wrote that, and Barbara wrote from Florida. She said, Peggy, pressure cooker, 45 minutes. Wow, that would be amazing. I mean, 7 hours is a long time.
7 hours is a long time,
But
but
you
it's,
like that, don't
I
you?
do. And I have a smoker, and I would put a pork butt in there and make some pulled pork or something. It's just the smoke flavor, I like the smoke flavor, but but then I do bacon. I smoke my own bacon sometimes.
Wow.
I've done some ham. So I mean, I like smoked meat.
I guess so. What do you have, a special smoker?
No, it was just one that I got for, I think it was Mother's Day a few years back. It's it's electric. So, just plug it in and set the temperature, and then it's got wood chips and a place to put water, and so it gets so the meat stays moist, and it's just all adjustable, and it's got a glass door so I can see what's going on without opening the door and letting
Okay, so
all
it's not
smoke
one of
out.
those egg-shaped things.
No, it's looks like a little refrigerator almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this sounds cool.
And it's bright red.
Is that your favorite color?
No, actually, I tend to like the blues and the purples and the greens, and more in that color range.
Well, that sounds like fun. I know we started it at Leanne Lindsay, who's also the co-host here and works at the station. She has this great marinade with, I don't know, all kinds of apple cider and all kinds of stuff. It's really great. So she started at her house and then she brought it over so we could put it in the old-fashioned Weber, with the indirect method.
You can't beat a Weber.
You can't beat a Weber in that indirect method.
Right.
Susan, the surveyor, every year, once or twice a year, makes a turkey indirect method. That is the best.
I bet.
Turkey with mesquite. It's the best. So we did that. We finished off that pork roast in there, and oh my God, with Leanne's marinade and that smoky flavor again, it was just so tender, so awesome.
Sounds great.
Well, we'll have to get you that recipe.
Yeah.
Like you have time to cook anymore.
I'm still off on Sundays, so I'm doing all my cooking on Sunday. And Scott's jumped in there and he's cooking. and he's not too bad, actually.
Mr. Perkins?
No, Collins.
Collins, Scott Collins. What does Scott do?
He's retired.
Oh, lucky him, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, I was retired too.
And you came back out of retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just I don't know. I just want to keep busy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm definitely doing that. So yeah.
So how has it been running the store so far?
So far it's been pretty good. I think the hardest part is getting product. A lot of the factories were closed, so they weren't making the product. And then, and I think they, have labor, they don't have people there to ship the product either. And then I hear, things about, oh, it's sitting on a ship somewhere in the middle of the ocean. And I'm like, oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. I know even some simple things I ordered online, not products like yours, and normally they'd be here in a few days. And
Right.
nope, all they can tell me is that they're being processed. Well, what does that mean? Well, they're being processed. Well, are they being shipped? No, they're being processed. What does it mean?
Yeah, until I get a tracking number, I just assume that they're still working on it.
Yeah.
And about half, some of them, the local companies around here are very good about getting the product to me quickly. And I usually get, if I order something today, some of them will get it tomorrow. And the companies back east, it takes 4 or 5 days, sometimes longer. So it's just when I get the order, I just like put it out as quickly as I can, and but just don't know.
Well, I know some of the appliances that
Mhm.
and I'm just assuming that you keep carrying some of those, like the Italian lines of coffee makers and tea makers, and then there's Swiss products, and I don't know if they must have warehouses here in the United States, but
Mhm.
that was one of the things I enjoy about Accents by the Sea, is that you're seeing again high-end products, and it's nice to be able to buy them local. Sure, I could buy it on Amazon for a little cheaper, but I'd
Mhm.
rather, and not that much cheaper, but I'd rather get it here.
Yeah. Um, the Breville and the Swiss Diamond,
Hmm.
Heston, um, those are, those we get the product. There are some companies that, because the lack of product, have decided not to sell to local retailers, so they're just
Mm.
selling to the big stores. And hopefully that will change as things get caught up as far as product. And it's kind of like I'm just doing the best I can getting stuff in the store. And I'm pretty close to where I want to be, but there's still some few things that are just almost impossible to get. So
Hmm. Well, okay, listeners, when you go into Accents by the Sea, you just heard it from Michi. Some things right now, because of COVID, are just going to be hard to get.
yeah,
When
well
you
they
have to, just go with the flow, and hopefully, like you said, things will catch up. I'm sure there are a lot of things,
mhm.
like you said, sitting in shipping lanes
Well,
somewhere.
not just with the COVID, people were not going to the factory to make things,
Mm.
so they only have so much product, and they're going to cater to the bigger business, that gives them $50,000 a year business, compared to me that's only gonna, I'm not going to spend $50,000 in product.
Hmm.
So but it will catch up. I mean, it's things are looking better already. So I think it will get better. So
Uh, so what kind of things do people come in and look for? And buying, what are they buying right now?
um a lot of the people right now that are buying stuff are people that have moved up here recently, and they are looking for potato mashers, can openers. I mean, just stuff because they go, I know I have one in storage, but I don't know where it is. So there's a lot of that.
It's funny, you know, I've always, every time I hear the term potato masher, I think, I need one of those, and I've never go buy them. I'll have to come by and look.
I have a whole bunch.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just stuff like that. And then there are people that walk in and they see something and they go, "Oh, I've never seen that before." And so there's a lot of that, or people that are just visiting and want a little souvenir to take home. And this is what I got when I went to Walala, you know. So
What kind of souvenir do they get from Accents by the Sea?
like little there's a product called Dream Farm, and they have what they call a chopula, and it's like a silicone spatula, but it's a chopula, so you can, you know, chop your hamburger, you can flip an egg with it, you can you know, do pancakes,
Oh, I
seared
see.
fish. It's just a, you know, a very colorful. They come like in red, blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, I think.
Is it the same people that make, I got the little scraper spoon
Spoon,
thing?
yes. So yes. And so I mean, they go, I've never seen one. And I go, and then so I kind of show them how it works, and they go, I've got to get this.
Good for you.
Then I have them at home, so I can sell it. I can say it works, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Do you have, well, that's interesting then. So you've, aside from trying them out and having them at home, are there any of the other, like, what is that skillet you mentioned that,
The Swiss diamond.
yeah, do you
Yeah.
have that?
Yes.
Now, why are those so special?
I don't know. I took one home and I thought, well, you know, it says it's nonstick. So I cooked an egg in it. No butter, no oil, nothing. It tasted awful because I have to have the butter.
Mhm.
And so, you know, it didn't stick though. I mean, I could take the pan and kind of swirl it around,
Mhm.
and the egg kind of moved around on it. So that is really, you know, good.
So you
To
were
me.
just testing it, but
I was
yeah.
just testing it, and the egg was not. I have to have the butter on an egg. So
There, well, that's reasonable. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, and I've cooked some other things in it, and it's so easy to clean. You know, so easy. I mean, it was just, you know, just I couldn't believe it. So I mean, I enjoyed it. It's a nice pan. It feels nice. It goes in the oven up to 500 degrees.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, and I think I've just put it on medium heat, and I seared some fish on it. So I mean, it, you know, without having to do the high heat, and because you're not supposed to put it on high heat, but I really enjoyed using it. It was a nice product.
Well, I know a lot of chefs that I think Rebecca Stewart uses them, and other people have written about them. And I always wondered what made them. I mean, I still have cast iron skillets I use, but
Yeah, me too.
you know, but as you get older, those things get really heavy.
Yes, they do.
And
do.
so you have that, and I've never learned how to cook in stainless. I just burn things, so I don't use them. I get some nice pans, but
Yeah.
you know. So the what are they called? Swiss diamond skillets, and
Mhm.
then those pressure cookers, the things that
Pemmican, yeah.
yeah. Have you used those?
Yeah. I don't use a pressure cooker that much. You know, like I said, I prefer the taste of something that cooks slowly. To me, it just tastes better. But you mean the pressure cooker's fine once in a while, but it's not something I would use every day.
Yeah, if you just joined us on Peggy's Place, you're listening to Michi Perkins, who is the new owner of Accents by the Sea right here at Cypress Village. And so I'm kind of grilling her on the why she got into this, and that was pretty funny that it was almost a whim.
Yeah.
And she's happy she's done that. Now, you mentioned the not the slow cookers. What are they called now that everybody's into?
Oh, the like Instapot.
Yeah, Instapot. Do you have, I mean, that was quite a debate for a while, whether Some people like Instapot, some people like you like slow cooking. I don't know if you use crock pots or that kind of thing,
I
but
do actually use crock pots. Yeah.
yeah, which ones do you prefer? The Instapot, or because that's kind of like a pressure cooker, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I have, what brand do I have? It's not an Instapot. I can't remember what it's called. But it's super large. It's like an 8 quart.
I need you to move a little closer to the mic.
Oh.
You're trying to get away from that mic. I can see it.
She's not used to having something in my face.
I know. I know it. It is. It's awkward.
Yeah. I don't know. My favorite thing to cook in is like a cast iron, enamel cast iron. And I can, like put it on the stove, do my onions and garlic and whatever, and then sear my meat, everything, and then just put some wine in there, and then, beef broth, whatever, and then just throw it in the oven and forget about it for a couple hours. That's my favorite way to cook.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's easy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then while it's in the oven, I can clean up the mess I made. And
Good.
yeah,
Good.
but that's my favorite way to cook.
You must have some of those enamel pots at the store.
No,
No.
those are hard to get.
Oh, are they right now or just?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay.
So I do have some alternative things coming in. Neil Honore makes a Dutch oven, but it's made out of ceramic. And so it's a lot lighter. So for some people, that would be better than the cast iron. And it can go on the stovetop and in the oven as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't have it in yet, but I did order it.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So it's, for some people, those cast iron with food in it, it would be really heavy. And so this might be a better option for some people.
Sure. Well, that's true. I mean, as people age, things definitely they get heavier. Like say, putting food in them. I know I have some wonderful ceramic dinnerware, on the shelf, and every day is like it gets heavier. Put it back in. Even as much as I love it, I think, oh, no wonder people have that. Well, I can't think of what it's called. It's really thin, but and light, dinnerware, not plastic, but anyway, it's.
Oh, the melon. I can't think of what it.
Yeah, I can't think what it is either, but
Yeah.
I said, no wonder people have that, but it's not the same, if you're into cooking. Now, what about, did you, since you do cook and do you entertain?
Not as much as I used to.
Oh, I bet did you in San Francisco?
When we lived in Vallejo, I would do the Thanksgiving and Christmas at my house for my family and all my nieces and nephews, and that was fun. I enjoyed that. The only part I didn't enjoy was like cleaning the house before everyone showed up, but the cooking part was fun.
What about setting table? Do you enjoy the designing what the table's going to look like for people? And
a little bit. I think I'm more focused on the food, and because I mean, I think I have mostly nephews, so it's kind of like, yeah.
I have 5 nephews. I actually have, my sister took care of all the kids. She had 7 kids, and her 7 kids have like, I don't know, 18 kids, and those 18 kids, there's at least another 20 kids. I mean, I don't even know the names of the greats anymore because they don't have simple names.
Yeah.
I said it that way in your family too. They all have these, I call them soap opera names.
No, everybody, well, my grandson was called Destry. It was named after Destry Rides Again, the movie, but I had never, I mean, I know I saw the movie when I was a kid, but my daughter named him Destry. I go, where did you get that name from? But yeah, and then my granddaughter's Tabitha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think they're too unusual.
Not too bad. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We have Shaylin, Dawn, and
Uh,
Kira, and uh, Chance, and I don't know.
yeah, my
I
great granddaughter's name is Esme.
That's a pretty name. That's kind of
Yeah,
an old-fashioned name.
yeah,
Great granddaughter.
yeah. Yeah.
Too young. I even have great greats.
Oh my.
Yeah, well, they all started really young.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, great grand. She's probably like 5. I can't keep up with anything, but yes, I
Mhm.
think she's 5. 5
Exactly.
or 6.
Yeah, time just starts flying, and kids they just grow so
They do.
fast.
They do.
So, what other kinds of things, get back to Accents by the Sea here in Wallala with Michi, who's the new owner there. What else attracted you to the idea of owning a store like Accents by the Sea with specialty cookware?
I'm not really sure. I really don't know. I just,
You're just a mystery, Michi.
I think I always wanted to be my own boss at one time or
Mhm.
another. I mean, I've always worked for someone else. So, and not bragging, but I've made other people or other companies successful or help their success. And so I kind of wanted to see if I could do it for myself, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like I'm making headway. I mean, Barbara laid out a great foundation for me.
Right.
So, I mean, I had that to work with and her reputation. And so, I mean, now I'm just kind of like trying to put my stamp on it a
Mhm.
little bit. So, I mean, it's I'm not going to do like home decor and stuff like that, but I am, going to continue the kitchen stuff
Mhm.
because that's what I know. I'm not really a decorator kind of person. So, I just stick with what you know, and keep my head down and keep working and plugging away at it. And, and then I'm trying to buy new product and, putting it out there and seeing how well it does. And some of it does really, really well. So,
What's an example of a new product you're sharing?
Muffaletta.
Muffaletta.
Muffaletta spread. Yeah.
Is it one of those olive, like a tapenade,
It's
or?
kind of like a tapenade, but it's a New Orleans type
Really?
sandwich. They're known for that. The background is Italian, I think.
Mhm.
And so they had some Italian people in New Orleans, and they make this muffaletta sandwich, and it is so good. And so I actually made one Sunday. I think it was Sunday, and it was so good.
So aside from the spread, what makes the sandwich so different?
I don't know. You take your bread, you slice it, you put the muffaletta spread on both sides and with a bunch of the oil in it. And then it's like provolone cheese and capicola and just Italian meat, salami, whatever that you like, or you can do just ham if that's what you like. And then you take the sandwich, you kind of wrap it up, and then put some weight on it. And it's just the olive. If you don't like olives, you're not going to like it, but it's just so good.
So when you put weight on it, then it soaks into the bread.
Better, yes. And then so about halfway through, so you let it sit like 2 hours. So about halfway, after
You
about an
let it
hour,
soak for 2 hours, a
yeah,
sandwich?
it's so good.
Wow.
And then you kind of, what I do is about halfway through, I flip it over so the other side gets really soaked.
You do like to eat.
I do love to eat. Not
Wow.
like, love to eat.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I had shared a muffaletta sandwich at Coppola's over in the Napa Valley area,
Mhm.
or wherever it is. The big restaurant anyway there, winery.
Mhm.
So I didn't have any idea that's why They did taste so good because well, that makes sense. And you do like it, and it's soaking in, and this goes back to your theme of liking slow cooking flavors and things like that.
Yeah, I think that letting the flavors meld,
Mm-hmm.
and it just helps. Sometimes, you like when tomatoes are in season, you just want the tomatoes with a little salt and pepper,
Oh,
you don't want to,
absolutely.
yeah. So that kind of thing is fine. But in, some things just go together, and so when it melts, it just tastes better, I
Is it
find.
a specific bread that you like to put them on? Is there a type of,
No, because I couldn't find the bread that it would typically come on. So I think
and you didn't bake it?
well, I
I'm
did
kidding.
kind of did. It was one of those take it home and bake it kind of breads. It was good. It was good. So
Interesting.
yeah, it just
Interesting.
has to have a really super hard crust on it, and for me to soak it.
Mhm.
But it was really good.
Well, what kind of food did you grow up eating?
I was eating Asian fusion before it was even known, I think. My mother was Japanese and my father was, Caucasian American. And so my mom would always put an Asian spin on whatever she was making. So she was making chili. She was, instead of using salt, she was using soy sauce. And so, yeah, so I grew up like eating American food, but it had an Asian flair to it. So,
Nice.
yeah. So that's what I grew up eating.
And so that carries through today too.
A little bit.
So an Asian fusion muffaletta.
No, I love Italian food and I love Mexican food, and I don't really play with it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I like spicy food. I love Greek food. I don't think there's anything that I can't stand. I'll at least try it.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be my favorite, but I'm sure somebody else likes it.
Well, it's a fair way of thinking about food.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of food sources here. And as the season is,
Mhm.
getting on, the growing season, there'll be a lot more things to experiment and play with. What
Right.
about, do you can? Do you do anything like
I
that?
have done some canning. I don't know if I'm going to have time this year, but
Mhm.
I've got so many tomato plants right now.
Oh, my.
I just threw a bunch in and just kind of let it go, and they're just doing so great that I've been transplanting them into, and I don't know how many I have right now, but I have a bunch more I need to transplant this weekend. So
Wow. Uh, Susan, the surveyor, used to love to garden, but the redwoods here have just vexed her. She finally gave up a few years ago. She tried everything.
well, my deck is just, it gets a lot of sun, and so the tomatoes do really well. My cucumbers, not so much this year. Last year they were great. This year, not so good. I bought some basil starts from a little girl. And those are doing great. Those are they're beautiful. My flowers are doing good. My citrus, I got 2 tiny citrus trees on the deck, and they're in containers, and those are doing really well too.
Lots of lemons this year. I have a neighbor across the street who he's got a lemon tree, and then
really,
a friend in Roanoke Park was bringing us lemons until we had to say stop because you can only freeze so many lemons, or cook so many at once. Yeah. Need some lemons?
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
All right. We'll have to get you some lemons then. But well, that's great. So you get to do that and cook and growing your own. We were talking about doing some basil starts the other day too. So
yeah, the basil's doing really good. I think what else is my lettuce? My lettuce is going crazy.
everybody, everything, people plant lettuce and it just all comes at once.
Yeah.
So neighbors have given us lettuce. We have bags of lettuce.
I just have a little planter that sits on my rail right by my front door. And so I just go out with a pair of scissors and just kind of cut down like a third And then next time I eat lettuce, I kind of cut it down another third, and then so I have lettuce, and it keeps growing back. So and it tastes so much better than the store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You must have fun at the farmer's market here too.
Yes. Yes.
So what else can we look forward to seeing at Accents by the Sea?
I don't know. I'm still researching product. So, I kind of research it, something. If I'm interested in purchasing something, I kind of research it, check, ratings, check it out on YouTube, just kind of, because I don't want to spend money on something that's just crap.
Sure. Well, we don't want you to do that either.
So so I'm just, so researching. I just put in an order for some like cake decorating tips. And so I got most of the basics now in the store. So now I'm kind of expanding on that a little bit.
Cake making made me think back to, do you watch any of the shows? Do you have any favorite shows on the Food Network?
I watched a lot of them. I'm just trying to think of if I have a favorite. I don't think I do. I like to watch America's Test Kitchen.
Oh,
Um,
that's interesting. I think I've only seen that a couple of times.
yeah, Cook's Country. I watch that sometimes. That's more of a.
I've never even heard of that one.
That one is affiliated with Cooks Illustrated.
Oh God, I love that
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, I've got every year of all the magazines, and so you get a little green book, and it has a year and has all 4 things in it, and I've got every year, and I love that.
If and if you're not familiar with Cooks, I think the thing about it was like the original Wall Street Journal. Everything's black and white. All the drawings are just beautiful.
Right.
So I think most people watch things like, I like Trisha Yearwood's Southern Cooking.
Yes.
And then there's of course everybody knows Beat Bobby Flay. Those kinds of things. So there's so many styles of cooking, and so many things you can do with so many of the products that you have at the store.
Right. And a lot of the products, the condiments and whatnot, I have recipe cards for some of them, and most of those companies have recipes online as far as using their product. And I've tried some of the recipes, and they're pretty good. Yeah.
So do people, when they come in, do they ask you for recipes?
No, they don't ask, but I offer.
Well, that's good. That's important.
If I see them looking at something and they're kind of waffling, I'll grab one of the little recipe cards and hand it to them and go, here's some ideas, and you can get other recipes online.
Well, that's good. Before you talk about condiments, I think I have more condiments than anybody. I put up my refrigerator. You try out all these things, and like you said, if you don't like them, then there they are.
Yeah.
And then there's some that you just use a lot of.
Yeah, we use a lot of like sriracha and soy sauce, of course, and of course ketchup and mustard. But we use quite a bit. Trying to think what else I use. A lot of mayo. I gotta have mayo for like tuna salad and whatnot.
Yeah, I've been using mayo with olive oil in it lately, which I kind of go back and forth on. Well, you were talking earlier about all the local vendors of all kinds. Maybe you can be showcasing them and have a little showcase for them in the store once in a while.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good ones, like at the farmers market and elsewhere.
Right.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, we just have a couple minutes left here. What do you want people to know about Accents by the Sea now that you're there?
That we're here in Wallala, and a lot of people don't know that we're here. I've had a few people come in, and they were going to go eat at Cove Azul, and they go, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." And I'm like, really? the signage, we need better signage, but we'll get that.
Well, I think now that we've got this new owner, Greg Lucas, who bought Cypress Village, it seems like he's gonna spiff it up a little bit.
Yes.
And that would be great because, yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done here. Well, Accents by the Sea, it's been, I would say, one of the cornerstones here. And I think it was wise of you to get that business. And people, always need something new for their kitchen, and there's new things. Or if you really do like to cook, which I'm not much into, but when I do, I want to make sure I have the right implements.
Well, sometimes you just need a can opener.
And that is true. I think my old one is falling apart finally.
I've got some good ones.
I love it. Sometimes you just need a can opener. Go see Michi and she'll that's a good line. You do. You need the basic things.
You need the basics. And so I've restocked and getting more stuff all the time. So I mean, every day I try to put in one order, and whether or not it shows up or when it shows up, I don't know. But I think I have some deliveries coming in today, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
It's like Christmas.
Like Christmas. Well, we're pretty much at the end of the show. Michi Perkins, thank you so much for joining us today on Peggy's Place. See, wasn't that hard, huh?
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, you bet. You bet. Well, and have to come in and see you once in a while over there. Okay. And everybody, Accents by the Sea is on the ground floor at the north end of the parking lot here at Cypress Village. If you're new, and we have a lot of new people, and you need something for your kitchen, whether it's a specialty item or just a can opener, because you can't find it, you now know where to find it, and some great small appliance products over there. Okay, Michi, that's it. We gotta go. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this will repeat at 1 o'clock, and it'll be on SoundCloud too, Michi, so you can share it with people as well. All right. Excuse me.
Well, it wasn't too bad. I just feel like, oh.
It wasn't bad. It was pretty easy.